speaking of when you knew you wanted to do something, when I was a very young boy, my dad took me to downtown LA because that's where he used to work. First celebrity sighting was something being shot. A warehouse door opens up, outruns Ben Vereen, and then outruns Jeff Goldblum shooting 10-speed and brown shoe.
And I was going to bring this up, that the first time we met, TV was our life preserver when we were kids. And my brothers, Neil and Luke, and I were really into what's the new show, and we're constantly looking for what's the new show going to be. And it was a big deal back then. Now people are bombarded with TV and streaming all the time. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, there was a big deal, like ABC's coming out with its lineup in the fall, and all summer you'd be excited. You'd hear rumors about what it was going to be, and CBS is coming out with this, and NBC's coming out with that. And there was this show that we heard about called 10-Speed and Brown Shoe, and my brothers and I watched it, and it starred Ben Vereen and this guy I'd never heard of before named Jeff Goldblum. And it was fucking fantastic. It was so good. Yeah. And I was like, who is that guy? Who's that guy? That guy's fantastic. And then the show didn't last.
13 episodes is all. Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Bring it back.
And Stephen J. Cannell, who had done Rockford Files and many other things.
But I remember
Greatest American Hero.
Hero.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, I'm walking on air. So good. Yeah.
Please don't ask me to sing that one.
William Catt. Johnny Cash first sent that in. Walking on air.
So but it's funny that we all have. It's so funny that you bring that up, Matt, because that is the first time that I met Jeff Goldblum. I'm using your full name just out of reverence. It would have been a couple of years into the late night show that I met you, and you've done, everything. You'd have been in so many great movies, and I went back into your dressing room, and I was like, 10-Speed and Brown Shoe, and I remember you were like, oh yeah, 10-Speed and Brown Shoe, because I thought you might say, oh well, who cares about that? I've moved on to so many other things, but it was such. It really tickled me when I was how old would I have been? 14, 15?
Well, it was like 1980, I think. So you were born in...
I was 16, 17,
17.
So I was 7 when I saw you guys shooting that, and I just was baffled by the cameras and that you did it multiple times and going, why are they doing it again and again? Why
really?
Is it like
How did you wind up there? Where?
My dad worked downtown, and he would take me to downtown quite a bit. Downtown LA.
What did he do, your dad?
He was a division manager for the gas company.
Oh, I see.
Well, so he also sold drugs.
He major kingpin.
Yeah. So downtown, no kidding. And you just happened upon us shooting. No kidding.
And I was just blown away.
I remember, it's so funny when you think about these brushes with show business. As we said earlier, I was so far removed from, show business in my childhood. And then I'll never forget, my father came home one day and he said, they're shooting a movie at my hospital, the Peter Brent Brigham Hospital, which is now Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. It's a big hospital. And he said, they're shooting this scene right outside my office. And we were like, they're shooting a movie in Boston? Near my dad's, like right outside my dad's office? That's impossible. That can't be. And so we rushed over there, and it was a scene where actor James Coburn just has to walk out and open a car door and get in it and shut the door. And he walked out. They go, and action. And so James Coburn walks up, and he walks up to the car, and it won't open, and it won't open. And they go, cut. The car's someone had locked it with the keys inside. So then we watched James Coburn just stand there while 7 guys crowd around and start with a coat hanger trying to open the door. And I got to find out the name of this movie, because I guess you can watch it.
What year would this have been?
This would have been like 1971 or 72.
We could look that up. We could find out.
And he trying to lift up the door, and they couldn't get it. And I thought, this is movie making?
Wow, yeah.
What the hell is this?
Well, still, one is struck by that when you go to, some movie and there's, all the little things going on. Hey, I love James Coburn. I saw the first run of Our Man Flint.
Oh my God.
In Like Flint.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah. Do you remember how the telephone rang in Lee J. Cobb's office?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
This was kind of almost a takeoff on James Bond, but not really. I mean, it was very silly.
Derek Flint.
Yeah.
And then Austin Power had kind of borrowed some things like that. Kind of.
What is the James Coburn movie? I've got to find that out. It's
a
medical mystery.
Let me guess. After that, I think after that, he did a movie called The President's Analyst. It could have been that.
Yeah.
I remember him talking about it on talk shows. I used to love talk shows when I was in Pittsburgh. I used to tune into, in summer, stay home all day and watch the Mike Douglas show. Go from Mike Douglas to, Dinah Shore and Merv Griffin. And he used to come on. Remember, he was kind of a countercultural hippie actor then. And he used to come on with a turtleneck, or in a medallion or something like that. And he used to come on, not just talk, he wanted to play the gong. And he used to bring onto Carson a big gong and go, that was his act,
We had, what I loved in the tradition of just to let people know that we did our best during my late night run to keep the madness going. You talk about, how people would just do strange things. One of the stranger things we did once was we just put out a salt lick on my show to see if we could attract a celebrity. And then you did it so nicely out of nowhere, just Jeff, just in the corner, but he does it sort of like a nervous deer. And he slowly approaches and I'm like, looks like Jeff Goldblum. Shh, everyone be quiet. Be quiet. And he came out, and then you sniffed the salt lick, and then you took a little lick. I remember that being one of my favorite.
I like
such
that.
a stupid, I don't care. So James Coburn played the gong with Carson. Yeah, let's see you have Jeff Goldblum.
What do got for Coburn?
The Coburn is the Carrie Treatment. Carrie Treatment is a 1972 American crime thriller film by Blake Edwards based blah, blah, blah. Takes place in Boston.
In Boston.
Dr. Peter Carey, played by James Coburn, is a pathologist who moves to Boston where he starts working in the hospital.
Well, I don't know it, but Blake Edwards, boy.
Well, guess what? So this is another fun story. My dad's there. This didn't happen when I was there. They kept shooting this right outside my dad's window, and he kept thinking, well, I could keep looking under this microscope for a cure to a terrible disease, or I could go outside and hang out with these movie folk. So he went outside and he's chatting and he can't believe it, but Blake Edwards is there with his wife, Julie Andrews.
Yes.
And a friend of my dad's who doesn't know much because he's always looking in a microscope is talking to Blake Edwards. And then he turned to Julie Andrews and said,
the friend of your dad's.
The friend of my dad's, and said, now tell me, Miss, what do you do?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And she said, well, I'm, an actress as well. And he went, well. And then later on, people told him what he did. And the guy, I think, put his head in a cyclotron at the lab.
It's like that scene from Notting Hill when, Julia Roberts comes in and Hugh Grant's
I know that reference. Yes.
Notting Hill.
There you go. We're getting closer and closer to her references.
When you said Julie Andrews, I was like, she narrated Bridgerton. So I know her.
And you know what?
Well,
oh my God.
Sound of Music, Sound of Music.
I'm kidding.
When the Thanksgiving Day parade, when I lived in New York, we lived on the Upper West Side, and my kids were crazy about seeing, the parade go by. And so I'd always take them. They were little kids to see the parade. And once I'm watching on the television, and we haven't gone down yet, and the parade is going by, and then they said, and here comes Julie Andrews. I lost my fucking mind. I'm at the time, I'm whatever. I'm a 46-year-old man. I ran without my kids.
Oh my God.
How old were they?
I ran all the way down. They were like, where are you going? I was like, stop! And I ran because I wanted to get down there fast. And I saw her go by and I was like, it's Julie Andrews. And I've been on TV at this point, 12 years. And I'm like, Julie Andrews.
Amazing.